Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, our special guest today is Speaker of the House, Mac McCutcheon. Also, the V-Team takes a look at TikTok, and the governor is losing it.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it.
From a lightweight to a featherweight to blow him away. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and today we have a very special guest, Mac McCutcheon, Speaker of the House. Welcome, sir.
It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Glad to have you. The old year's behind us, a new year's begun, and we're staring down the barrel of a new session.
That's right.
How are you enjoying your job so far?
I enjoy it. Members are working very well together. We have our challenges. None of the problems have gone away. But overall, the people around the state, I'm traveling all over the state, they're responding well. They like some of our ideas. And so I'm excited about getting this session started.
Well, everything we hear, people are happier, more relaxed, and enjoying your leadership style. I was sitting with some folks the other day, and they said, what a decent, honest human being you were. And these are not people that are necessarily fans, but they see that in you.
Well, that's a great compliment, so I thank those people for saying that. But I'm very dedicated to the legislative process, and the process will represent the people of Alabama if we just work through it and respect it. And so we're gonna depend on our legislators to do their job and represent their districts, and we'll work through the issues.
Well, we have the same old issues facing us, but there's always new issues. What's going to be the priority for this session?
I think the way the session is setting up now, the prison issue coming over from the governor's office is going to be a major priority that we're going to have to address. Based upon the federal court, the ruling that we will receive from the court, and then addressing the overcrowding issue and the safety issue. So there's many things. So that's going to be one of the priorities. We now, as of just a few days ago, have a ruling from the court dealing with our redistricting.
Right.
And that's going to be a priority as we move forward too. We're going to start meetings and addressing the summary from the court and what we're expected to do. And so we're going to have to pull the existing committee and then appoint the larger committee to start addressing the redistricting issue.
Well, without getting too far in the weeds on that, you know, I've looked at that opinion, and I'm no lawyer, and I'm sure there are lots of lawyers looking at it. But there's, there's 12 districts that have to be redrawn, 3 Senate, 9 House districts.
That's right.
And it appears to me that they're very concerned about changing these lines to be more representative, but I'm not sure that this lawsuit by Joe Reed is actually going to end up doing these folks, our friends in the House, any favors, because it's going to juggle it in such a way that the outcome could be very different.
Well, and there again, I'm no lawyer either.
Right.
But we're listening to the legal minds and still trying to get our arms around exactly what the court has said, so we can address it. I know that we are looking at those districts. We're looking at the district lines, and seeing how they were drawn and how they affect the districts around those.
Sure, because you move one piece, you got to move another one.
That's right. You've got that comes in consideration.
Will that be put together, and do you think you'll get it through in the regular session?
Yes, we're going to make that a priority because I think the court will expect that of us. And keep in mind, those 12 districts, there's 12 legislators that are affected by this.
Right.
And we're going to finish this session, and then we're going into a campaign year for the election of those representatives for those districts and senators. So we've got to address it and get it out for the sake of the legislators and the campaign.
And it sort of was out of, I mean, it wasn't like we weren't thinking it was coming, but we were hoping it wasn't coming. But that's a tough one. I want to go back to the prisons. You said that's a priority. I know it's been a priority for Governor Bentley. There's been pushback on it for the last couple of years because it's almost $1 billion if we do the whole plan. And a city that is my granny used to say narrowly broke, $1 billion is real money. I mean,
it is real money. It is real money, and I think the people of Alabama are recognizing that.
Yeah.
When I go and I talk to groups about the prison reform, I talk to them about the corrections issue. They're concerned about the safety of the community, but they're also concerned about that much money.
Yeah.
And are we spending it wisely?
Well, as a former law enforcement officer, and of course we have been in several of the prisons, and they are deplorable. I mean, they are terrible condition. But again, and the feds are saying we have to do something, but I just wonder, is there some middle ground? Because we're only getting 3,000 new beds, really. So, but y'all will tackle that.
Well, as you know, the last session, the regular session that we had, we were addressing that issue.
Right.
And we had actually passed some legislation dealing with it. There were some issues with what we had passed out of the House up to the Senate, and they were addressing it. Some of the debate was around, do we want to do all of it, or could we do like a pilot program and build one facility and see what the cost is? You've also got the issue concerning the design build. That's a factor that's going to come into the debate. Another thing that we need to be looking at is that I would like to go back and look at the prison sentencing reform bill that we passed a few years ago and look at how that may play into what our long-range plan should be. Because we could build new facilities, but in the end, are we accomplishing what we need to for long-term solutions?
And I know that's something that you're concentrating on, is how do we do it long-term. We got about a minute left in this segment. I really don't want to get off this subject because we've looked at some studies of other states where they have, they do a lot more in the intake to categorize inmates. This one needs this one needs that. This one we can't do anything with. And, some smart people, I know this and you do too, there's only two ways to decrease population. That's who you let in and who you let out.
That's true.
Or
That's true.
Put in.
Yeah.
But are we looking at some studies here that maybe show we're doing a better job? I know that bill looked good. I mean, the piece of legislation passed was good.
Well, I thought it was good. And the District Attorneys Association, the law enforcement community, the judges, there's some, since the bill has been in place, there's some things in the bill that could be strengthened to make it a little stronger and more effective. I just feel like that should be, when you talk about intake, I think that this should be a part of the discussion, because we can build these new facilities, but if we haven't streamlined the intake process and we're not addressing those people who are really a threat to society, then are we really accomplishing what we need to?
Well, I agree with you. We're going to leave it right there. You're going to stay around for the next segment?
I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back with our special guest, Speaker McCutcheon.
Azia Medical Spa offers a relaxing experience using customized skincare treatments and full line of physician-grade products, with professionals that can assist you in determining which treatment options will best help you achieve your desired results. Azia's massage therapies are popular for rejuvenation and relaxation, as well as relief of tired, aching, and sore muscles. Voted the best medical spa in Birmingham for 3 years in a row, visit aziamedicalspa.com to schedule your appointment.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Speaker McCutcheon, we were talking earlier about some of the things that are facing the legislature, and one of them is ethics. We have to look at the ethics laws. There's a need to address some issues, as we've talked about. And how are you and the Attorney General's office working together on that?
We're working very well together on it. You know, anytime a piece of legislation is tested and tried in the court of law, there are always things that come out of the legal process that makes you want to look back, and lawyers begin to look at it and they interpret what the law is saying versus what its intent is. And so out of the some of the issues that we've had dealing with the ethics law over the past couple of years, there's been some discussion about looking at some of the fine points and clarifying some of the things that's in the law. It's not to change the law in any way, because the ethics law that we have has been a good law and it has proven itself.
Right.
We have unrooted some corruption in our state government thanks to that.
Sure.
But by the same token, as we move forward, we've got legislators that are concerned about their jobs. We have a part-time legislature, and they're asking serious questions about, you know, can I still do my job and serve? What is a principle? Things like this. So through that discussion with the Ethics Commission and the AG's office and the legislature, we're working very close together to be a team as we approach this, to make sure that it doesn't become political. Right. And that we have a good law that will hold the elected officials of the state accountable.
And I'm definitely all for holding them accountable. I mean, that's sort of what we do as well. I know there are those who would like to see it go back to the way it was and just gut the ethics laws, or at least to take enough of the bite out of them that frankly it make it difficult to prosecute people. And so y'all have a huge job, because there's powerful people that want it to change and weaken, and there are powerful folks who want it to stay the same, and I guess you're the man in the middle.
Well, I don't know about being the man in the middle, but I do know that we should never go back to the way it was. Yeah. We have made a lot of progress, and the proof is there. I mean, just look at what's been going on the last few years. Sure. So because of that, we just need to make sure that we address the law and take care of those issues to give clarity to a good piece of legislation that we already have, a good law.
Well, I agree with you on that. Another thing that's come up, and it just will not leave the stage, is this impeachment inquiry into Governor Robert Bentley. I know it was suspended. You wrote a letter. There seems to be...
Well, the AG wrote the letter to us.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, where do we stand on that, and what do you think happens next?
There were some people that had been critical of the House as trying to sweep this issue under the rug, Keep in mind, out of 105 members, I had 23 members in the House that signed a resolution, and we addressed it to set up a process by which we could move any impeachment forward.
Right.
And I think we have a good process in place. The impeachment process was working and moving forward. Witnesses had been interviewed. The facts were being gathered from a legal person that was approved by the Judiciary Committee in the House. So the process was moving forward. We haven't lost any of that, but during this process, the AG's office was doing an investigation, and their investigation was concerning the governor's office and some other issues concerning the governor's office, and which I'm not aware of. I'd never asked any questions about that, but we do know that there was 2 investigations that were running together, and we felt like during a discussion with the AG's office that it was appropriate that we suspend the impeachment until the AG's office finished a possible criminal investigation versus an impeachment.
Right.
And so we're right where we were. We haven't lost any ground. The Judiciary Committee is still placed in effect. We're just going to let the AG's office finish theirs, and then at what point in time they contact us, then we'll make the decision to move forward.
Right. Well, I don't know how long that's going to last or how long it's going to go, but we'll all be staying tuned to see what happened. President Trump has placed a big emphasis on infrastructure, and of course, you have the same. You have made a case that we do have bridges that are falling down and roads that need repair. You can't have business development and more jobs and new things unless you have infrastructure, right?
That's true. That's exactly right. Yes, infrastructure is a huge, huge issue that the people of Alabama need to be thinking about. 2015 was a good year for us because we traveled the state. The Joint Transportation Committee traveled the state, and we listened to the people in their districts, in their areas,
right.
Local mayors, county commissioners, the people who were involved in infrastructure.
Right.
And they overwhelmingly, they reported back to us, we need help.
But this isn't a situation where we're going to raise gas tax and then just pad these county commissions that don't need, we want to get something done.
Yes,
right?
if you'll remember, in the last session, we passed a Senate bill. And what that Senate bill done, it set out the parameters by which any additional revenues brought in would be spent to take away no salaries, no new equipment, all of this fluff that's out there. The money would go directly to the roads and the bridges that need to be fixed or even rebuilt. So we've got that to keep the accountability on any additional revenue. The problem is now we need to find out how do we want to move forward and get some additional revenue to do these projects.
Right. Well, and that's going to be a challenge because, you know,
it is going to be a challenge.
Alabama, we don't like our tax. We don't like to be taxed.
No, I took a little bit of criticism, and it was warranted. They wanted to label me as the gas tax guy, but at the end of the day, I'm thankful that we brought the issue up and we got the discussion going. And one of the things, as Speaker, I want to make sure that our House members, that we continue that discussion and keep educating the public and the members of where we are.
We appreciate your service and thank you for joining us. You're welcome to come back anytime.
I appreciate that. I've enjoyed being here with you.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. Our guest today has been Speaker McCutcheon. The V team will be joining us for some more news and analysis. Stay put.
I'm John Merrill. As your Secretary of State, we saw you at the polls with your photo ID in record numbers on November the 8th. Now let's all work together and make a positive difference for the great state of Alabama.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Welcome all.
Good morning.
Hello, good to be
Love
here.
the new gigs here.
Isn't it
Yeah.
great?
I like
This
it.
is so nice.
Yeah.
We look real
Thanks to
professional
Steve.
now.
Yeah, well, it's time for a change. Over 3 years, it's we were wearing that baby out.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice. I really appreciate our good friend Steve
Davis
made this.
He did.
for us.
Custom made it for us.
This week, Governor Bentley got a little upset with the Alabama Political Reporter because we reported that the ethics investigation into he and Rebecca Caldwell Mason is coming to an end. At least the first one is. You can tell that if you can add and subtract, because they had 180 days to do the investigation. 180 days should be up any day now. But he got upset because people were talking about the investigation to us, and he thinks that's somehow illegal, Claire.
Well, that's not illegal, but shame on you. Why y'all making the governor mad? That's not nice.
He shouldn't do naughty things.
Well, okay, who knows? But in any event.
Claire, I'm
no.
a bad man. You already knew that.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, putting that aside, yes. Everybody knows there's something going on because people saw him coming in out of the courthouse, but he's just got a little bit of thin skin right now. But everybody can count. Like you say, it's 180 days it's up, and that's what's going on. We'll see what happens from this day forward.
Susan, I don't know that anything happens at all. But
I don't know that it is. It's just that it's coming to an end. Whether they're going to draw an ethics complaint or not, the ethics commission's got to decide one way or another. Right.
Now, did this stem from Jim Ziegler's complaint to the Ethics Commission?
And Johnny McMorrow's as well.
And Representative,
But like we said, there's a lot of things that look wrong and it may not pass the smell test, but it's not unethical for her to ride in the state plane with him and a few things like that.
Well, I think that you're probably right on that. I do think, I can't imagine that what they did to Spencer Collier, Jack, passes any kind of ethical muster. I mean, they defamed the guy publicly, they cost him his job, and what does he get out of it? Nothing?
Nothing. I don't think that he's got another job yet, but, it's very unfortunate. And then looking at his medical records, which is blatantly illegal.
But and I like Spencer, he's a friend, but y'all, we're in this rough sport called politics, and it's pretty rough. It's college football in Alabama.
Of course it is,
And when you serve at the leisure of the governor, you can be here today, you can be gone tomorrow.
But when you trash people in the media that are not...
Right, and when you accuse them of misappropriating funds, which the grand jury said he did not do, and actually... This is all over the governor asking Spencer Collier to lie to the AG.
Right, I understand
and
that.
And to say that, or not give an affidavit, or tell him that the case was still open when it wasn't.
Yeah,
so there's
we
more
know
unethical
that
there.
the grand jury is still impaneled in Montgomery County. We know that the one in Lee County, Claire, is still impaneled. I mean, we verified it this week. I mean, who do you think they're coming after in Lee County?
Well, there's a long list to line up there, I believe.
Do you think your friend Sonny Reagan or Gene Sisson might see the inside of a courtroom anytime soon,
Well,
Jay?
perhaps. I've never met either man, but I've read about them. I would not want to be either one of them right now.
Yeah.
Well, the man the former speaker, still hadn't gone to the pokey yet.
Well, he's still waiting his appeal, and they gave him time to get his... what is it called? The transcripts.
The transcripts.
Ready.
The court reporter asked for more time to complete the transcripts. This is totally by the book. This happens all the time. It's nothing special in this case. And I assume as soon as they verify those transcripts, then the Court of Appeals can hear it.
And then with the new elections and all this going on, there was no doubt that things were going to drag out.
Well, justice needs to be swift.
Well, I agree. I'm looking forward to welcoming the speaker to his new home. I hope he goes somewhere close so I can go visit from time to time and see how he's doing.
Oh, I'm just thrilled we have a new speaker, and that you know,
that was a good
Yeah, he did a
interview
great
earlier.
he did. He really did,
He's
and
a great guy.
I really like his attitude going into the session.
Yeah, they say it's a whole different feel. You know, my only concern is that he surround himself with good people and not let these snakes back in the woodpile.
That's
Clack.
right. That's exactly right.
I saw the speaker at a restaurant the other night, and I waved to him, and he waved back. And when he was leaving, he came over and spoke, and I said, boy, this is the first time in a long time a speaker's come over to speak to me. It's pretty refreshing.
Well, I think we just need to give him a little room,
Absolutely.
see how he settles in, starting the session, which starts February 7th. So,
Well, you know, they had the fundraiser up in Prattville, and you know, he said, look, this isn't for the speaker. This is for the members, and that's quite new,
Right.
Claire.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think he's going to do a good job. I hope he makes some, chairmanship arrangements that are not what they are today, because there's some chairs that need to be replaced. We only got about 2 minutes. I want to get to this thing where we discovered that Governor Robert Bentley has a cabinet member who is being paid by the University of Alabama, still receiving her tenure, still has tenure, retirement, everything. Dr. Joanne Hale is now the chief over information technologies, but the state's not paying her for her cabinet level position.
Was she being paid by the university for her service
Yes.
to the university?
In fact,
That's
the money goes from the governor's office to the university and then back to her. It's the same amount of money.
But the thing is, the Ethics Commission made it very clear last February that this executive on loan had to be vetted on a case by case, right?
Right. To have a loan executive.
Well, like
They've
Seth
done it in the
Hammond was
past.
being paid by Power South.
Correct.
Right.
When he was working for Bentley.
Now, Joanne Hale was hired in January before that opinion, and as we've verified with the Ethics Commission, they've never asked for an opinion about her contract.
Again, this is, we verified it with the governor's office and ethics, but the thing about it is, they said in that opinion in February last year that you had to get a case-by-case clearance. They didn't seek it. I'm not saying Ms. Hale's not doing a great job.
Well, they
or not a
probably
great
just
person.
overlooked
Was she
you know?
grandfathered in because she...
There's no grandfathering. They said no more.
Well, hey, at least she's not getting paid by PayPal.
That's
I mean,
true.
you know?
Well, that we know of.
Well, the university basically is a
Might be
state
Bitcoin.
entity. It's still state
Right,
money.
state funds.
It's not like a private company is paying her
You
salary.
mean the
Right.
state of the University of Alabama doesn't have business before the legislature? It doesn't have business before the... I think there's a
Sure they did. Sure
potential.
they did. But what Jack was saying is it's a state agency. I mean, a university, a four-year college is a university. They receive their funds out of the Special Education Trust Fund.
Well,
and then that goes to the state coffers.
Sure.
But they're couching this under agencies.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right
agencies.
there. You've been watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.